We don't hear very often about the acts of citizen heroism that lift the American reality closer to the American ideal. But 11 years ago, Hollywood brought us the extraordinary story of one exceptional hero, Erin Brochovich, who stood up for a community she says was being slowly poisoned. Well, now Erin Brochovich is once again raising the alarm, and the community she's out to protect just might be yours. Here's my co-anchor, Cynthia McFadden, as Nightline investigates.
So, ball up, guys. Get out here and finish your job and make it right.
Meet the real Erin Brochovich. Bold, brassy, with more than enough sass to play herself in the movie named for her.
You want me to trust you? Do me a favor, Ed. Don't use big words you don't understand.
Instead, Julia Roberts got the part and the Oscar.
Once the chromium hits the ponds.
We met the real Erin Brochovich 15 years ago, reporting on the discontent in Hinckley and another small town called Kettleman.
PG&E began using the hexavalent chromium.
In those days, Brochovich was a file clerk who found herself piecing together the story of people like these who were sick and scared.
It would either be a nosebleed or leg aches.
I had Hodgkin's disease in the neck and the chest.
Whole families are dying of cancer.
And there were so many more. Brochovich ended up helping them make a case against their neighbor, the giant utility Pacific Gas and Electric, who they claimed had poisoned their water supply with a chemical California now recognizes as a carcinogen, chromium-6, and covered it up for decades.
What the people who lived around here didn't know is that the water...
A few weeks after our story aired, PG&E settled with the Hinckley residents for $333 million, the largest such direct action lawsuit in history, though the company never acknowledged making anyone sick. The movie became a hit, and Erin Brochovich became a household name.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not taking it anymore!
She has since become a passionate fighter for the idea that one of the most basic promises of the American dream is that we can all raise our kids in a healthy and safe place.
The thing that can make the difference will be you.
She's an alarmist rabble-rouser to some and a folk hero to others.
Oh, I believe that we have a huge problem with the water in America. We don't want to make that connection that these chemicals at varying levels in our water supply over time is in fact related to our disease process, and it concerns me greatly.
Now, people from across America email her.
Each one of these green dots is a person reporting cancer in her neighborhood.
We have been reckless in how we dispose of our waste. The earth and the waterways aren't some massive dumping ground.
Hi, guys.
She says people come to her because they don't know where else to go.
Nobody really knows what we're going through. You do.
People like Barbara Post of Carson, California. Post bought her dream house in a development of homes built in the 1960s. The 55-acre tract with 285 houses on it is called the Carousel.
We are trapped. We are between a rock and a hard place.
That's because when the folks here bought their homes, they didn't know that the Carousel was sitting on top of what had been a Shell oil reservoir. Shell sold the land to a developer who promised to clean it up, but the homeowners say no one, not Shell or the developer, warned them about the oil.
I'm afraid to get tested for cancer because I would rather just not know anything else. I've dealt with enough.
Letty's got cancer.
I wanted to have children, now I can't have children.
Mm-hmm. Barbara and many of her neighbors claim the buried oil is now bubbling up in their backyards, emitting the chemical benzene. And while Shell says they're testing and the current levels do not present an imminent health risk, they have now warned locals to avoid disturbing the soil. So the neighbors are trying to keep their kids and dogs from digging in the dirt. Brochovich and the law firm she works with, Girardi and Keyes, are now suing Shell.
Communities don't want jobs to go away, but there's got to be a trade-off here. They don't want to be poisoned either. Companies need to have a heart and a soul too. I mean, that's their children out there. That's their neighbor out there.
And that's another part of the American dream, community.
Do you have coyotes out here?
which brings us to another hot spot on Brochovich's map, Duncan, Oklahoma.
It's a matter of looking at all the data today and extrapolating it and going backwards.
Residents here contacted her about a contaminant called perchlorate, which had seeped into their wells.
And they told us don't drink the water, don't bathe in the water.
The source? A Halliburton plant that cleaned missile casings during the Cold War. Halliburton tells us they have accepted responsibility for the problem and are working with the community to clean it up.
I can imagine some people sitting at home, though, saying, look, companies make mistakes, companies have to do the manufacturing process, nobody sets out to poison anybody.
It isn't about finger pointing or blaming. We need to join companies and communities together because they coexist and one depends on the other.
There are going to be a lot of people who listen to you and say, okay, important that we have healthy water, but we're in economic crisis in this country right now. We need jobs.
Of course we need jobs. There's an opportunity here to create jobs in science, in technology, in developing new ways to dispose of our waste. You can put people to work. That's bringing back America. And it's worth it. And it's the fight that I will continue to do till the day I die.